Welcome to the Happier Life Project, the official podcast from the award-winning mental health and wellness app, My Possible Self, hosted by broadcaster and journalist Gabby Sanderson.
Hello, it's Gabby. Today's show is one that really means a lot. Not only is it World Mental Health Day, if you're listening to this episode on the day of its release, it's also the 4-year anniversary since the launch of this podcast. 4 years of real conversations, honest reflections, so much incredible advice, and hopefully helping out quite a few of you along the way. So thank you truly for listening, for messaging in, and for being part of this journey towards building a happier, healthier life together. And to mark this milestone, we've got a truly special guest. Someone who embodies openness, authenticity, and strength through vulnerability. The fantastic artist ADMT. Adam Taylor, better known as ADMT, is a musician who isn't afraid to break the stigma around mental health. His music is raw, soulful, and deeply personal, often inspired by his own lived experiences growing up in a challenging family environment and navigating his own mental health battles along the way. His Doncaster grit and grounded perspective shine through every lyric, reminding us that being open about what we're going through doesn't make us weak, it makes us human. In this conversation, we're going to talk about how music became a lifeline for Adam, a way to process his emotions, confront loneliness, and connect with others through his honesty. We explore the intersection of creativity and mental health, what it means to stay vulnerable in an industry that often celebrates perfection, and how success can come with its own unique pressures. Adam shares his own personal coping strategies, stressing the importance of community and self-care, and agreeing very passionately with the mantra we have here at My Possible Self, that in fact every day is Mental Health Day. Ready to find a healthier, happier you? Let's dive in. On World Mental Health Day, when this broadcasts, I am absolutely delighted to have an artist on the Happier Life Project, ADMT. Welcome.
Hey, how are you? Thank you for having me.
I'm very well, thank you. Thank you for coming on the show. At My Possible Self, the app that I'm part of with the Happier Life Project, every day is Mental Health Day. So really, World Mental Health Day, for us, it's every day is that. But I wanted to mark it because it's also the anniversary of the podcast and do something special. And then I started looking into who would be a great guest. And I went down a bit of a rabbit hole with you and your music and how open and vulnerable you are speaking and singing about mental health. Yeah, I'm glad we could make this happen.
No, thank you again for having me. It's a pleasure.
Can I ask what came first? Like, was it the music or was it the mental health, and how did the two merge?
The chicken or the egg?
Yeah, exactly.
It was more, I was always doing music. I was working in a factory at the time that I hated, and I was still doing music on my days off and on night times, and I'd like do a shift and then go into the studio and stuff. So music was happening, and I'd also found my management by then, who are still with me now. So music was going on, but it was kind of just like it kind of came around the same time almost. Like the mental health stuff was that I sort of experienced was, I say that I experienced like it's gone, but like you still also have days where you struggle. But the darkest time I guess of my life was around when I was still working in that place, and a few things in my life had happened that just made me realize a lot about myself and my past, and
Yeah. So, I mean, I think I know the answer to this, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Was writing and creating music based on what was going on in your head a cathartic experience?
Yeah, definitely. I found that, especially, I only know how life through my eyes as a boy, so I can't speak for everyone else. But like how it is growing up for people, for guys around where I'm from and stuff. Like, I found this thing like, obviously it gets spoken about so much. You don't speak about it. You just crack on. You just ignore it, push it down deep, and just bury it and stuff. And I
Yeah.
like for the writing thing for me was just putting it out there. And then once it was out there, I'm like, I've said it now, and no one can use it against me, or no one can hurt me with it. It felt like a freeing thing as well. Over like, well, if I'm comfortable with being vulnerable, because that's what we all are as humans, then you can't hurt me with it. You can't use my vulnerability against me because I'm working on becoming comfortable with it. So that was kind of
Yeah.
how it
The
kind of
truth will
came
set
about
you free.
every time.
You talk about, and because I was reading an article, an interview, it was with NME, like loneliness and sort of building your tribe, and you had struggles with bullying, right, in your childhood, and
Yeah, yeah,
and we've covered this topic a few times on the podcast because it is probably one of the biggest mental health problems I think that we are globally struggling with because of the way the world's navigated COVID and everything's getting digitalized more and more. Yeah, so in terms of like music being a source of comfort and companionship, can you talk a little bit about that and what that means to you?
yeah. I think if I'm honest, I feel like if I didn't have music, I probably, I probably wouldn't be here now. I don't
Wow.
think. If I'm honest. I think at like the darkest points that I experienced that I've never really spoken about this super openly, so bear with me. Like I
Okay.
speak about mental health a lot. I've never gone like super. Yeah, I always take it to a level. Do you know what I mean? And so
Okay.
bear with me.
Well,
The truth will set you free. You said it yourself, right? So
exactly.
and hopefully free some other people more than anything. But yeah, I feel like I'm lucky in that I found. I think there are many purposes for all of us. I think we all have many purposes and we don't know what they are. And I think we all find them at the points when we're supposed to find them or not. And I feel like I was lucky that I found this at a young age and it developed into this thing that I almost addicted to. I love it, sometimes to my own detriment. So yeah, I think I'd have struggled without it having the purpose. And I think purpose is what a lot of humans need, just to feel like they belong and they've got something to work towards and something to do with their existence here in the time that we've got here. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely, yeah. Going back to some of your earlier releases, the song Prison, I think, is a very good example of. Well, I actually just really thought, my God, that's so relatable about the whole how people feel like the prison in the mind, the kind of you're kept a prisoner, if you will, in your mind. And I was like, that just sums up so perfectly. I think anybody that's struggling with mental health, you don't need to be diagnosed with a mental health illness or disorder. Anybody that struggles can relate to that feeling of being like, yeah, imprisoned by your own thoughts.
Yeah, 100%. I think
Yeah.
it's like, we speak about mental health, don't we? And we say like, and it almost at certain points it becomes in certain circles and certain, I don't know, trends, it almost becomes a cliche. And like something you said at the beginning of the podcast, like it's every day is mental health day, and I completely agree with that. Like we've all got a brain, which means we're all going to think. But what I often find is, myself included, and I've had to work really hard on not doing this, and it's costing a fortune in therapy, but like just understanding yourself better can lead to you being able to change your thought process and get out of the prison, if you know what I mean. Like it's so difficult, like, and I've been to the bottom of the darkest place I ever want to go. I never want to go back. I don't think I'll ever go back, but you never know. But like I wrote Prison because a friend of mine forced me to write it. That was when I was like at my worst, really. And my friend of mine rang me to say how I was, and he was a songwriter, but we just became good friends. And he was like a guy called Mikey Gormley, so I've got to shout him out because he's just an incredible human. And he was like, "How you doing?" And I was like, "Not very well, to be honest, mate. I don't really know what's going on. I don't really understand. This was so new to me. I was the guy who never expected to suffer with anything. I was Mr. Impenetrable. I thought, almost." Again, like not arrogance, but just like, that'll never be me. And he
Yeah.
was like, "Oh, we should write a song about it." I was like, "Absolutely not, bro. I don't even want to leave my bed, let alone write a song." And then he rang me back the week later. He's like, "Bro, we should write this song." And I was like, "All right, okay, let's write it." And we did, and that's what came out, I guess, in the
Oh,
moment.
yeah. Incredible song. And another one that I have to mention is more recent Overboard, or a more recent release. I'm not sure when you actually wrote it. I saw this a clip on TikTok. You said you wrote this when you were sad to let others know that they matter. That's me surmising.
Basically, yeah. And to be fair, I was kind of out of I call it the darkness in my own head, because it's almost like I often refer to it as like a dark room in your house. When you go through this is my own personal experience of it. It's not everyone, obviously, but when you go through something, like you have it's like a room, and now it's boarded up. And now I'm doing the work to try and unpack why it's boarded up, or why I got there in the first place and stuff. But it's always there. And like when you have down days and stuff, you can almost hear it sort of creeping up the hallway. But I wrote this sort of out of there a little bit, and it was more because I think when I went through it, it sort of slapped me in the face. It made me really understand how much people struggle, and how hard it is. And like, I'm not even going to get into politics or this country, England in general, but like it's difficult for people now, and it's forcing more people to then end up with mental health issues and problems that they shouldn't have in a society that's supposed to be classed as affluent, or one of the richest countries in the world or whatever. But yeah, Overboard was just, I just wanted people to understand that, like, even if they didn't feel like they mattered, or they didn't feel like they were noticed, or their voice wasn't heard, like that it was, and it should be always. Because I guess the truth of everything is, like, it feels like we're being programmed to forget what we are, and what we are is human over anything else. And we are all together. Like, in 100 years, no one's going to be on this planet with us. This is our squad, like this is our gang. We need to, even if it's 10% more, just look out for each other a little bit. I'm not saying that, that we don't all get busy and we get, concentrating on life and stuff, but I think we're tribal as a species, and I feel like we need each other. I feel like we need community, and we need trust, and we need people to be able to be vulnerable with. And that's hard, especially when you're on your own and you feel like you don't have that, So that's why I wrote it. Sorry for the long one.
No, I completely agree with you. Thank you for sharing. So you yourself, like, I mean, I guess it's that thing, isn't it, where people look at somebody else's life and go, oh, wow, they've got you've got like hundreds and hundreds of thousands of followers on Instagram. You kind of living the dream. You're about to go on tour, which we can talk about as well. And so you're doing, I assume, your dream job. But like, also, it's really hard work. Touring is a graft. And like having that kind of following online, that comes with its own pressures, and I suppose can be quite intense as well. So for you personally, how do you manage your mental health, especially like you've talked about when you've got some vulnerabilities and you've got all this stress piled on,
Yeah, it's interesting. This has come up a lot recently, this success and stress thing. Just in my own thoughts, like one of my good friends says I'm too cerebral. I don't know what that means, but I thought it was a compliment at first, but I don't think it is. But I just think a lot, probably too much. I think the truth is you can't have a success without stress, to an extent, especially, speaking from my own experience again, everyone lives their own perspective. In the music game, like, I've learned resilience is the main, is the word of like the month. Was like, you have to build yourself to be someone who's like almost impenetrable. It's and we all make mistakes and do things that like, or make decisions that were like, oh, maybe I should have done that and stuff. But like, it's just difficult, is the truth. Like, I absolutely adore it, but it's 5% singing, if that. The rest is everything else. It's hard. You've got to just adapt to a lot. And then the social media thing in itself, I've kind of just got to the point where I'm like, if it's shown to people, it seems to do all right. Everything's based algorithmically. And if it isn't, next, I posted for 2 years without getting any views at all, so I can do that. It's no issue, and some things do really well and some things don't do as well, and you just have to keep going. It definitely affects people. It definitely affects me sometimes. It's insane how much, like, if something goes really well, you go, oh, yeah, that's good, that's nice. Do you know what I mean? Like,
it's that dopamine hit, isn't it?
And I'm really cautious because of, like, I'm ADHD to death.
Oh,
like. Yeah, not like
the official diagnosis.
I had it before it was cool. Like, I had it way before that. It was a problem. Right. It's not the official diagnosis. It's my official diagnosis, but I'm not a medical professional. I'm really cautious of like how I receive. Like, I don't have any notifications on my phone. I don't try not to scroll on social media. If I've been out on a night out, the next day I do it just by. It's almost like, I don't know, it's like my brain just stops working. I think you've just got to be really careful with everything, doing what I do, and also, again, as a species, and understand what this, I'm on my phone right now, I'm talking to you, and what this is. And it's an extension of us now, and it can mess with you in so many ways. It's not technically natural. I love it. It's a great tool. I try and use it as that to keep my mental health in check.
Yeah. Let's kind of bring it back to being World Mental Health Day. Is there anything that you'd like to share with our app users and listeners in particular?
If you are, if you're going through it and you're struggling and you're in a place where you don't feel like you can see the light, it's still there. You just can't see it. And it is 100% there. And the truth is, I had so much support around me when I was struggling, like so much, but it didn't make a difference because I had to be the person to decide to change. And I think everyone has to find the tools that help them change. And you have to do a lot of searching. Mine was the gym and microdosing and all these other things that seem to really, really help me mentally. And, I feel like you've just got to persevere with yourself and not give up. I think that's the most important thing, because giving up's the worst thing in the world. Like, I can't remember who said the quote, and I'm probably going to mess up the quote, but I'm sure it was like, you should never underestimate the hole that your absence would leave. And I think it's true for every single person, out there.
Amazing stuff. Just out of curiosity, what's your personal favorite thing to do for your mental health? Like for me, it's yoga.
Yeah, which is sick. It's really difficult. I tried yoga the other day. I thought I was an athlete. I'm not at all. Yoga's really hard. I was like, this is going to be chilling. Again, I think you've got to find what works for you. Like, for me, for example, it's almost stopping myself and understanding that, like, I've learned so much about myself and my understanding of what maybe life could be in this last year. And I think you just have to find what's for you. It's understanding that actually, like, the beautiful things, like the important stuff it's already here. It's not in the big job, it's not in the sick car, it's not in all that, because you're never going to, like, I've experienced these things come and go and then come again and go again, and it's not real. Like, what's real is the people around you and the people you share, I think, this experience with. And also just finding the tools that work for you. Go to the gym is my 100% like bottom line thing, because you go to the gym and you get endorphins. You feel better after you go. Even if you just do a little bit, you feel better for going, because your body's like, oh, I've done something mentally. I've done something. I feel like I've achieved something. I make my bed every morning. It sounds ridiculous, but like little things, I'm like, well, that's the start, because I know that's done. And it's like it's almost like this little psychological thing. I don't know. I'm really interested in health and like mindset and all these things, and and then by proxy, going to the gym, you start to look better. When you start to look better, you start to feel better. That you look better, you also feel better, because you feel better anyway going to the gym, and it's almost like a compounding effect. And then before you know it, I've got one ab now, so I'm killing it. It's only took 3 years, but I've got, and sometimes it's not there, but
slowly.
I don't know. I think you just got to keep chipping away at yourself. We're all a sculpture. We're all like, we all start out as a lump of clay, and you've just got to work on yourself until you feel good in yourself.
Well,
but
I think that's an
also remember
journey.
And your value is not determined by other people's perception of you. Do you know what I mean? Like, your value is determined by you, and you have to start feeling good about yourself, and then the world will reciprocate that, or it won't. It's up to you. It's like, same with music. You can put music out, you're either going to like it or you're not. It's not up to me. It's up to you what you think. It's none of my business what other people think about me, I guess.
Well, I have to say, and I'm not just saying it, I think your music is absolutely incredible. I mean, I got really emotional when I was listening to not Prison, the other one. What was I talking about?
Overboard.
Before. That's the one. Overboard. Yeah. There's the UK tour, which you're literally about to embark on. So as of the 12th of October in Oxford, and then pretty much for the rest of October, you're going to be in the UK.
It's going to be a busy month.
Yeah. So any of our UK listeners that fancy seeing you perform live, then try and get yourself to a show, and then you're over to Europe, right? Unfortunately, not Portugal.
Yes. No, do you know my best friend's Portuguese, and I go quite a bit with him, and I absolutely love it there. But Portugal would be a great place to do gigs, just because I love it.
I'll put a word in for you.
It'd be an honour. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Yeah, well, thank you very much, really. So, is there going to be an album with all of this activity? Are we allowed to talk about that, or do artists not do that anymore?
I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about it, but I don't think there is. I'm talking about it. It's fine. I don't think there is. I was going to do an album, and then I felt like almost like I wasn't ready for an album. And I know people have asked me for an album, and I really want to do it for people who want it. But I feel like everything comes when it's supposed to, and I'm releasing new music soon, very soon, and I'm just going to keep releasing tunes, and hopefully people like them.
Absolutely. We'll keep an eye out. So it's Instagram.com I am ADMT would be the best place for anybody new to you listening right
Any
now.
socials is the same handle.
Any social. So TikTok and YouTube and all of that jazz.
All
Instagram,
of the stuff is the same.
All of the things. Awesome.
Thank you very much.
All right, I'll let you go. Best of luck with the tour, and thank you again for today. Really appreciate
thank you for your time. It's lovely to meet you.
Hello friends, it's Gabby back with you. If you are suffering with your mental health, there is a crisis button on the My Possible Self app, which will signpost you to the correct information for immediate expert advice. Those of you who are listening on one of the podcast platforms, the My Possible Self app is completely free to download. You can access all of the content, so you don't need to worry about it costing you anything. If you found this episode helpful, please do subscribe and leave a review and share it with your friends. And to find and follow us on social media, we are most active on Instagram, and you can find us at My Possible Self. And I've been at Radio Gabby. Until the next one, do take care. Bye for now.